cable bundle, then I could use those long arms of the wire ties to kind of go around it and hold it in place. And it might be beneficial when you come back to work on these connectors. You could use that long wire tie to hold back the beta cloth.
Go ahead and string it around, let me know.
Okay, we copy Nick about the long wire tie being able to maybe hold back the beta cloth, and you have a go to do that if you would like.
Work.
Twist around there.
I'll twist it up. Let's go fish this back through. If I hold this down like this.
So do you want to fish it through underneath?
Yeah, if we go underneath,
But I don't
try to pinch down.
think about that. Just going to do the same thing it just did, though.
Pull out. You hold on to this corner. Yeah, I can grab that end. If you grab the corner and pull it through the little...
That hole?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll pull it tight.
Not that much holding that there, though. Can we do something over here?
And Nick and Sunny, that looks good to us. It's really best effort with the beta cloth.
Okay. Holding it there. Show you guys what it looks like in the Hague.
Yeah, we see it in the Hague. That is all good. We're about 1 minute to handover, and if we can get glove and hap checks from both of you.
Okay.
Gloves, same. It's a dry.
That's dry. Gloves are no change.
Copy, gloves and hat for both of you. We're going to hold here for 30 seconds until after this handover for your egress.
Okay. Sonny, you're just going to watch me the same way?
Yep, exactly.
Talk me out.
Yep.
You are following along live with our coverage on NASA Plus of US EVA number 91, featuring NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams. And there you are seeing the teams here on the ground at Mission Control Center, Houston, and the International Space Station Flight Control Room, featuring Flight Director and EVA Spacewalk Flight Director Nicole McElroy in the middle of your screen there, talking with Spacewalk communicator and NASA astronaut Jessica Whitner, who is relaying communications up to both Hague and Williams as they have started to wind down their procedures on the alpha magnetic spectrometer. And that is a part of one of a handful of tasks that those two have completed so far today, so much so that they had reported earlier that they're nearly an hour ahead of schedule. But there are additional tasks that they can assign both Hague and Williams to participate in before the closure of today's EVA. Of those tasks, they have removed and replaced a rate gyro assembly, the number 2 unit. That was the priority task number 1 that they started with. They also removed and replaced a planar reflector used for communications for visiting vehicles that were in transit to the International Space Station for docking and relaying rate of closure communications. Also patches for the damaged NICER experiment, the Neutron Star Interior Composition Explorer, and of course now working together and patching up their workspace of the alpha magnetic spectrometer, preparatory tasks for future EVAs to upgrade the AMS or alpha magnetic spectrometer.
You're going to end up picking up the NICER caddy and putting it on your swing arm, and then Suni is going to take the crew lock bag back on her BRT, and then you'll both pick up your green hooks, and then what we're looking for you to do is actually head out to the starboard CETA cart together. Suni is going to lead, and then we'll work some APFR troubleshooting there before we head back to the airlock.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to pick up my BRT.
Yep, Nick, when you're ready, you can work with Suni to egress the AMS worksite.
I think this is the worst part of your head getting in here is when you're way in trying to do the BRT.
Yeah.
Other than that, the rest of it is pretty clear. Right now, your this is probably 6 inches from top of that AMS area.
Man, it's a tight fit on that BRT around that handrail. Being able to get your fingers on the paddles, there's not a lot of access.
And you just heard their communication from Spacewalk communicator Jessica Whitner relaying up the next steps for this EVA, USA EVA 91, as they complete their tasks at the alpha magnetic spectrometer. And now they will together return to the airlock to drop off some tools and equipment before together making their way to the APFR, the articulating portable foot restraint that had a couple components stuck earlier today at the beginning of the EVA, but did not play a role or a factor in the removal and replacement of the rate gyro assembly. So this will be a get-ahead task for the 2 crew members that are participating now, what is going to be 4 minutes and 54 seconds into the EVA, the 4th in the career of NASA astronaut Nick Hague and the 8th for Suni Williams. They have just entered an orbital nighttime period as the International Space Station currently flying over Europe and the southern border of Poland.
I guess I'm going to start to move as well.
Yep. I'll meet you on phase 1.
Okay, copy, Suni, and we need to see you out of the truss, Nick. When you can and you're in a good spot, you can check your safer handles are down. And then, Suni, once you meet up with Nick on phase 1, we want you to just do an inspection of tabs and BRT tab up.
Okay. Will do. Get up my green hook now. Your hook is connected to the red reel. looking at your tab.
You see it?
Right tab's up. Left tabs are up. Looking good.
Okay.
Saver handles are down.
Yep.
Green lights on.
All right. I'm gonna get configured here. I've got to get this transferred over onto my swing arm and pick up my green hook, but you're leading over that way.
Okay.
So if you want to start that way,
okay.
I'll catch up to you.
And Nick, Sunny, we are tracking along and just want to make sure, Sunny, that you've picked up your green hook on 3208.
Sunny has her green hook and crew lock bag, and I'm just starting to translate port.
Copy all.
You heard me. I said that his tabs are up.
Yeah, affirm. We heard tabs are up and safer handles are down.
Hey, I'm at the Cedar Spur.
Copy, Sunny. And we see you both go into the starboard CETA cart back where that troublesome APFR was. And for SA, we're going to leave that crew lock bag number 1 is still down there on face 6, Sunny, that you put there earlier. Nick will be grabbing that, but on the way back to the airlock after the APFR troubleshooting.
Okay, sounds good.
Mr. Caddy is on my swing arm. Not my green hook.
Copy, Nick.
Continuing to follow along the progression of U.S. EVA number 91 as we view from the helmet cam of NASA astronaut and designated EV-1 spacewalker Nick Hague as he and NASA astronaut and commander of Expedition 72, Suni Williams, continuing to translate or move across the International Space Station from where they were previously at the work site of the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer, and making their way now towards the APFR, the Articulating Portable Foot Restraint, as the two have accomplished a large majority of their tasks and even have gotten ahead of schedule. So this is an opportunity to review a piece of hardware that was stuck in a current configuration and was a little troublesome, but played no impact in its intended use was to be a part of the replacement of the rate gyro assembly number 2. So with the extra time or get ahead time, an opportunity to go back and revisit that before future spacewalks. Coming up, in fact, we just passed the 5-hour mark of today's EVA for both Hague and Williams, racking up additional totals of their spacewalking career for Suni Williams. This is her 8th, came into today with 50 hours and 40 minutes of time. And for Nick Hague, in his 4th spacewalk today, 19 hours and 56 minutes of time. And again, now just elapsing the 5 hour and 1 minute mark of US EVA 91.
Yeah, you can ret to the APFR and try to actuate that collar back to the black on white position to see if you can get it to unlocked. But really, we want you guys both to work together on that and just try to keep the WIFX in a nice stable position while we're doing that. See if that helps at all. And then if neither of those things help, then we'll look to troubleshoot using an AET over the locking collar itself, and I have some steps for that.
Okay. I'm going to wait till Nick gets here. I'm ready to it.
On my way.
Yep. I'm up high.
Okay.
To keep our tethers, like, untangled.
Okay, I'm just passing your crew lock bug.
And Sunny, if we can have you power cycle your HECA again, so just off, wait 30 seconds, back on.
Off.
Okay, I see your safety tether now. All right.
It's this one here.
Okay. Hang over there.
All right, for both of you, now that you're both out there, again, we're just going to try to use both hands to get that locking collar open to the full black on white position. And if we're successful at any point in these steps getting that APFR off, we're going to have one crew member hold the APFR. We're basically going to do a swap with the one that Sunny put into WIF 4. And so we'll work that real time.
Okay. We're trying to get it out of this whip extender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want me to hold the whip extender or something?
Yeah, if you want to stabilize it.
The two NASA astronauts have reached their next task for today's EVA, and that is the articulating portable foot restraint that they're looking to get unstuck, if you will, from what they experienced earlier in the EVA, but played no factor in their completing tasks. But with the available time, both Sunny Williams and Nick Hague, NASA astronauts, working in tandem to free up this portable foot restraint.
You're...
I'm tethered to it, so it's fine.
Okay.
All right, we see it out. So,
now we want to put...
yeah, one of you guys are going to hold that, and then the other one, we're going to look to pull the APFR out of WIF 4 and into the WIFX.
And right on cue, getting reports of a good release of that articulating portable foot restraint as Sunny Williams and Nick Hague continue to work together.
And Sunny, as you move that down,
Got that one.
the clocking's going to be 12.
And which one?
Why don't you put yours in first, Sunny? So the one that's going to go into the, not the whiff extender.
One that's not the whip extender is 12. Is that right, Jeff?
Okay, so the one that's going into WIF 4, not the WIFX, is going to have a clocking of 3.
On that side, mean
3 zenith.
Yep. Try to get it there.
Yep. Verify your red. There you go. Right there's the red clocking. You can push in.
My dad's pulling me this way. Oh, that's... No, that's a BRT. Okay. Come on. Bumping into you.
That's okay. If I'm in your way, move.
Right. Doing ATFRs. All right, get in there, you. Let me get a better handle on this thing.
Good grease pig.
Yep. Ingress. It's up there. Put out.
Get one in there. Good pull twist.
Good pull, good twist. Yep. There.
Copy. Good full twist test. And then, Sunny, if it's not already, if you can just verify that that's Papa Fox 6 in with 4.
I can see Papa.
I see 6. And Fox 6.
All right, complete. Thanks.
This one, what is the clocking here?
The clocking for the WIFX is going to be 12.
This one's 12. Okay, so 12, and it's Papa Fox 6 as well.
Affirm, Nick.
Okay. Towards you a little bit more.
Yep.
There we go.
Right there.
Okay. I'm going to twist and pull. Hit us in. Back on board. Okay.
Thank you.
Got it.
All right, Jess, what's up next?
We're right here. We could pop over the back and one of us could check out that ATFR. Coming up with plans. Hey, feeling? Yeah, I'm feeling good too.
And Nick, Sunny, nice work on those
And we're a little
APFRs. Just give us
the finger that took the pictures.
Give us 1 minute to talk the game plan here.
Yep, no problem.
Hands are a little tired, but
Yep.
I'm fine.
Yep.
Tuning all the nights.
we can't forget the brakes when we leave.
Right there?
Yeah.
Both sides?
We just have to tap this side as we're leaving.
That?
We have to tap this side.
Yeah. You go first.
All right, Nick, Sunny, I got some big picture for you when you're ready.
I'll lead us back. We are ready.
All right, Nick, you had it right. You're going to be leading back to the airlock. Big picture, we're going to head back to the airlock and stow the bags. Nick, you're going to pick up that crew lock bag 1 and stow that on your BRT, or you can tend it if you just want to tend it down the Cetusburg, either way. And then we're going to clean up. We're going to put all the bags and tools back in the airlock secured. And then we'd like to hear your thoughts because we do still have some time available. We're about still, say, 45 minutes or so up on time. So thoughts on doing the ammonia line imagery task. And with regards to APFR, the Z1 would be the APFR that we'd look to go for.
That seems reasonable. Everything buttoned back into the airlock.
Yeah.
And then let's see how much time we've got left and go from there.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that sounds good to us. So
okay.
let's get
I'll
you guys
lead
moving.
Away.
And then real quick, can we get one more confirm? I don't know, I think we heard black on black and full twist with the pitch knob on that last APFR.
Confirm.
Okay, copy.
Yeah, black on black, good full twist test on the APFR in the WIFX.
Copy, thanks for those words. And Sunny, if you can hit the starboard state-of-art brake pedals on your way as well.
I did, thank you. Did it twice.
You heard good words there from Spacewalk communicator Jessica Whitner relaying up to the crew of Nick Hague and Sonny Williams out on US EVA number 91 of additional tasks assigned to the two of them as they translate across the International Space Station, as they have gotten ahead of their time frame, still about 45 minutes or so ahead of their scheduled tasks, which included 4 key ones that they have since completed, as they are now 5 hours and 14 minutes into their scheduled EVA. So with that extra time on their schedule, able to stop by the airlock and stow bags and continued cleanup before wrapping up today's EVA. But they will also take some imagery of an ammonia line for additional engineering and research purposes. That will be coming up here shortly. And then another articulating portable foot restraint will be reviewed here shortly along those lines as well. So that is what the additional tasks have been relayed up to both Nick Hague and Sonny Williams towards the back end of this EVA and Spacewalk today.
Let me grab this crew lock bag real quick. I've got a rat on the crew lock bag, and I'm just going to tend it as I go back.
Copy, Nick.
Tell me when you're down low.
Yep, understand. Until I get to the lock toolbox, and then I'll be out of your way.
Okay.
I'm at the airlock toolbox.
Okay, coming that way. And down to see the spur.
Jeff, I'm at the airlock. Good to open thermal cover.
Affirm, Nick.
Astronaut Nick Hague has arrived to the airlock, the crew lock, as a part of the Quest airlock, in which they will drop off. And you heard communications from the teams here at Mission Control in Houston in the International Space Station Flight Control Room to stow baggage and tools before moving on to some get-ahead tasks, which will include additional imagery or taking photos of an ammonia line, as well as potential APFR evaluations. That is an articulating portable foot restraint before the close of today's EVA. Now 5 hours and 17 minutes into today's spacewalk for NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams. Everything has been going swimmingly, so much so that they have been moved ahead of schedule. They accomplished their 4 key tasks, which were to replace a rate gyro assembly, remove and replace a planar reflector for communications for visiting vehicles, install patches for the damaged NICER experiment, which went swimmingly, as well as together working on the work site of the alpha magnetic spectrometer, releasing beta cloth and ties to access a patch panel to gain some preparatory information on testing and tools and that configuration for future upgrades. But as mentioned, working ahead of schedule and diligently as a team all the way throughout, and now looking at a couple of opportunities for get-ahead tasks before completing today's spacewalk.
My crew lock bag coming in the hatch.
Extra caddy is stowed, still on my swing arm. You got the crew lock bag?
I give you that one?
Yeah, I can take care of it. Now, get the book. Okay, releasing yours.
Yep.
Coming back toward you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all that stuff is down. Okay, I'm coming back out.
All right, and Nick, before you come back out, we just want to confirm in the airlock that we should see 2 PGTs, 2 crew lock bags, and the NICER caddy.
And a large ORU bag. Correct.
There's the large ORU bag. Thank you for correcting us.
it just is wonderfully in my way in here. Okay. So,
On the backside.
on the backside, I'm coming out.
As you come out, I will take a look at your paper handle.
Okay.
Left is down. BRT tabs left side are up. Your handle on your right side is down. BRT tab on your right is up.
Okay. Standing.
Great visuals there of NASA astronaut Nick Hague stopping by the Quest airlock.
Almost close.
The theme of the day, we would ask that you turn your HECA back to the on. Thanks.
Okay. HECA is green light on.
Okay, copy. We will continue to troubleshoot. All right, so for both of you, we see we have about 20 to 25 minutes before we want to bring you guys back to the airlock. And with that, we're just going to take these tasks as far as we get in that amount of time. So what we see is Suni with the camera is going to execute the Node 3 ammonia, or the Node 1 ammonia line imagery task. And we'll start translation first. And then Nick, we're going to have you follow Suni to the Z1 APFR toolbox, and then actually stand by.
This way, right?
So,
Up and over, out.
up and over and down. Yep.
We start translating, Jeff?
Okay. We just wanted to confirm the tether config was correct. So we do see, Suni, you translating first out to Node 1 to take the ammonia line imagery, and then Nick following, and then splitting off at Node 1 up to the Z1 APFR for an APFR eval.
Okay, copy. We're on our way.
Okay, so let me remind myself where I am. Node 1 is there. Just come across here.
Yep.
Great communication there between Jessica Whitner, the Spacewalk communicator, here on the ground in Mission Control in Houston in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, relaying the get-ahead tasks. And you heard that there was a little bit of time left on this EVA number 91 for NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague, and divvying up the tasks as they have stopped off at the Quest airlock and the crew lock to drop off various bags of equipment and tools, and then now translating or moving around the International Space Station, in which Suni Williams will then take imagery of an ammonia line, and together while moving off, they will split off, you heard, and Nick Hague will...
And for both your SA, we don't have good views right now, so you can continue to keep us apprised and let me know if you need any directions along the way.
And for astronaut Nick Hague, he will evaluate an articulating portable foot restraint that you saw them working on just before returning to drop off the tools of the airlock. And that is a visual of the airlock itself and the astronauts making their way around it before proceeding with these get-ahead tasks and additional tasks after completing the 4 key ones on today's checklist.
The first photo for you is actually going to still be on Node 1. You're going to be head facing nadir on Node 1 handrail 0107. And then I have a caution.
05.
I have a caution for you. There'll be no loads or translation into the fluid lines, MLI gap spanners holding the MLI in place, and Cygnus thrusters are a no-go for kick loads.
cables here.
Jess, I'm at the E1 ATFR for the eval.
Okay, copy, Nick. While I give Sunny some words, you can activate the pitch, roll, and yaw pedals just one direction and back to its original location and verify that those work.
Okay, didn't work.
Okay, I'm at 7107. Signator. See the cupola.
Copy, Sunny. If you've identified the MLI covering...
It's coming up right in my face.
If you... Yep, we're waiting for...
Yep.
Yeah, there's sunrise. We want you to identify that MLI covering the aftmost connector bank on node 3, on the node 3 starboard in cone, and then you're going to photograph and scan the MLI from the aft side looking forward. And Sunny, for you, we're really just looking for a box pattern, like overlapping box pattern, so we can put all the pictures together later. And Nick, for you, I do have a warning. There's a potential MMOD strikes, or there are potential MMOD strikes in the vicinity of that APFR, so let us know if you see anything and be careful with your hand placement.
Okay, got it. So far, yaw and roll are functional. No issues.
Copy. I heard yaw and roll functional. Can you confirm you've done pitch already, or are you working on that now?
Working on that now. Do you have final settings that you want me to leave this in, configuration-wise?
Yeah, Nick, we just want it to be back in the position that it was when you showed up. So if you move it out to check, just put it right back where it was.
Okay, Jess, you're just looking for orthogonal pictures, really, of this side coming over, correct? Anyway, the sun sort of moved a little bit.
Copy, Sunny. Can you repeat that last?
Okay, I'm just taking orthogonal pictures, like between, for example, the Cygnus pedals and these lines, correct? So you can see the difference between the two.
Yeah, A-Firm. If you're capturing Cygnus and the connector bank on node 3 and the cables in between that, then you are hitting that area of interest.
Okay, very good. What's next?
Okay, Sunny, the next location is going to be translating over to node 3, handrail 0619, and that's going to be zenith from where you're at right now, and then across the two gap spanners, the two diagonal gap spanners to node 3, and then at that lower gap spanner, you should find handrail 0619.
Just the pitch knob is functional, no issues. It works like it's brand new.
And great news, Nick. Can you just verify that it is the pitch knob is back out?
Hey, Jess, I'm at 0619.
Copy from 0619, Sunny. You're going to photograph that MLI again, and then capturing the entire length of the MLI and the surrounding modules. Now, for both of you, we're 2 minutes to handover, and we might have some Radicom here for the next 5 minutes or so after that, but I'll ask you to repeat if I don't hear it. Nick, for you, we can do the active whiff eval now, so you can reposition for access to the active whiff and then tether to the APFR. And then we don't want to actually take the APFR out, but we just want to actuate the locking collar to make sure we can get it to the white on black position and that the paddles themselves can be depressed, but don't actually pull the APFR out.
Okay. I'll get in position.
Five hours and 32 minutes into today's spacewalk featuring NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague, as the two of them have cruised through their tasks, no issues, everything working swimmingly, and now operating on some additional tasks that have been assigned by the team here on the ground in the International Space Station Flight Control Room. The space station currently entering an orbital daytime period after just flying over Sydney, Australia, and approaching the west coast of New Zealand.
It's one handrail nadir of that current handrail you're at, and we're 20 seconds to handover, and it's the same photograph series that we're on.
Now looking at a live view inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where Spacewalk Flight Director Nicole McElroy in the middle of your screen, being joined on support by Flight Director Elias Mirmo. For McElroy and her Vista flight team, they have been walking through every step of today's EVA that got officially underway at 7:01 a.m. Central Time. Jessica Whitner immediately to McElroy's right-hand side, the Spacewalk communicator, and Aki Hoshide, the Capcom, the JAXA astronaut for today's EVA as well. As we mentioned, about 5 hours and 34 minutes into today's spacewalk, in which Suni Williams and Nick Hague have completed their assigned tasks for the day and are now getting ahead on tasks with the extra time available to them. For Suni Williams, that was the most recent helmet cam view that you saw that had her holding a camera. She is taking imagery or photos of an ammonia line on the Unity module of the International Space Station. And Nick Hague, you heard communications of him talking about yaw and pitch. He was evaluating and articulating portable foot restraint, an additional foot restraint after having done so on a couple of previous on this EVA as well. So again, the two astronauts ahead of schedule and able to accomplish additional tasks along their EVA procedures today.
And then the last thing for this eval is going to be tool stanchion collar eval. So you'll reposition for access to the tool stanchion collar, and then you'll pull that tool stanchion handle out and rotate the collar in both directions as the worksite allows, and then you'll just have to put the handle back to stow the stanchion back in its original place.
Okay, Jess, I moved to one away. I think the next one is one more up.
And Sunny, the next
617.
The next one is actually 0616, so it's a long handrail in between the two shorter ones, so it's directly nadir on node 3.
Okay.
And this position, Sunny, is the trickiest one. It's the closest you're going to get to the ammonia line, so just using good BRT like you have to hold that position, and then just looking for the square grid photo technique as you take these photos.
Just the tool stanchion collar actuates just fine, rotates freely. It's back in its original position.
Copy, Nick, on the tool stanchion. So that completes the APFR eval. We would like to just get one more double check if you can read out the settings on that APFR and just one visual look over to make sure we don't see any MMOD hits.
I've got a clocking of 3. Papa. Delta 1.
Copy, Nick. We're good with those settings. So that completes that APFR eval. Unless there's anything else, we can get you heading back to the airlock.
No, it looks in good condition, and I haven't noticed any MMOD strikes on it, so be good to use.
Copy all.
I think I'm complete here as well.
Copy, Sunny. With that, we're complete with our ammonia line imagery, so you can restore the camera and then start your translation back to the airlock as well. With the tethers, we see Nick leading back, but he should be in front of you.
Okay. That's me, sorry.
Oh, you're good. We're out of the snarl.
Continuing our live coverage of today's U.S. EVA number 91, as you heard from the ground and Spacewalk communicator Jessica Whitner, that the additional tasks assigned for NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Suni Williams have been completed. For Suni, taking imagery or photos of an ammonia line, and for Nick Hague to evaluate an articulating portable foot restraint aboard the International Space Station. Approaching now 5 hours and 42 minutes of EVA time that got underway at 7:01 a.m. Central Time, 8:01 a.m. Eastern. The team has been working efficiently and cruising right through their assigned tasks. They had 4 major ones for today, including the replacing of a rate gyro assembly as the top task, removing and replacing a planar reflector for communications for visiting vehicles, patching up a damaged portion of the NICER X-ray telescope to allow for that to be fully operational once again, and then assessing the work site and potential for future upgrades to the alpha magnetic spectrometer. And as mentioned, the additional tasks they were able to squeeze in because of their efficiency throughout the day today were to take imagery of that ammonia line on the Unity module and evaluate and articulating portable foot restraint. Now you see the imagery right there of astronaut Nick Hague. He's the one with the red stripes on his uniform. You can see that illustrated on the legs of his spacesuit. This view from Suni Williams is the two standing just outside the Quest airlock and looking to begin their journey back inside the orbiting laboratory. And there you can see the team that has been working with the two astronauts every step of the way today, led by Spacewalk Flight Director Nicole McElroy there in the middle of your screen, Flight Director Elias Mirmo, who will be directing the next U.S. spacewalk. That'll be occurring a week from today, there for support. Jessica Whitner just down that middle row. She's acting as the spacewalk communicator, relaying all instructions up to the crew outside the International Space Station, and Aki Hoshide of JAXA as the COTCOM for everyone inside of the space station. And just behind in that back row, you see Farouk Sabor in the back row to the right, the spacewalk lead officer today that's been helping orchestrate a lot of these tasks and seeing what's available for get-ahead opportunities for the two astronauts.
Okay, I am in. Okay.
All right, Nick, Sunny, just had a quick handover there. We're back with you now.
Sunny has her waist tether down to the airlock D-ring extender, gate closed by lock, and at a good path, so I'm going to release her anchor hook.
Copy all.
I'm in, Jeff.
And Nick, you do have a go to
Your
retrieve
tether
that
pack
anchor hook.
coming in.
My tether pack is coming in.
Yep.
I've got it.
Okay. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my waist tether there. Okay, gate closed, block on block. With that Jess, I'm going to release my safety tether back.
Yeah, copy, Nick. We heard black on black for EV2's anchor hook on your waist tether, so you have a go to pick up your hook.
I put my waist tether to the airlock D-ring extender.
Both of ours are today.
Okay.
D-ring extender.
Copy. Understand the config now. You still have a go.
Copy. Okay, my anchor hook is picked up. Swing around and come in feet first. You're clear of the bag.
I'm clear. Waist is in.
And there's an excellent view from the helmet camera of NASA astronaut Suni Williams as you're seeing them start to re-enter the Quest airlock in the crew lock portion of the International Space Station after completing a multitude of tasks outside of the orbiting laboratory. You can see at the feet of Williams, Nick Hague backing in to place. They were talking over their tethering configurations on how to make sure that they are properly attached and safely attached to the International Space Station.
There's up here. Hey.
All right, Jeff. I've got the thermal cover RET attached to the D-ring. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines.
Copy, Nick. And can you just verify that the magnet is engaged?
The magnet is engaged, although it does not want to stay very well. Hang on a second. There's a flat cloth over it. Better. Okay. Magnet's engaged.
Okay, copy. Can I get both of you to turn off your HECAs?
HECA's coming off.
HECA's off.
All right. Both of you can remove your SCUs from their stowage pouch and then remove your DCM cover and connect your SCUs.
It's yours, by the way. Oh, right there.
Man, coming from everywhere.
Yeah, trying to get the tethers out of there and give you your...
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Okay.
Fine.
That's yours?
Yeah, fine, but... Here's the...
And there you heard the communication from Jessica Whitner, the Spacewalk communicator, up to the crew as they have now begun the ingress process, or returning inside the International Space Station after a hard day's work out and about the orbiting laboratory in the vacuum of space, completing the 4 key tasks and an additional 2 tasks on today's spacewalk. Now approaching 5 hours and 49 minutes of EVA time as, again, the crew aboard the International Space Station, both Williams and Hague in their suits, but their support team of Butch Wilmore and Don Pettit will be awaiting for them. And there they are right there looking through the hatchway. They are in the equipment lock of the Quest airlock portion, and they are looking through the window at both Hague and Williams as they make their way back inside the International Space Station.
Just a couple.
And Sunny, we copy the couple of
TV1,
plates.
FCUs connected and locked.
Not much, just a couple.
Sounds good. We are not concerned down here, and you can continue.
Okay, Jess, we're both hooked up to FCUs.
Okay, copy, Nick. Thanks for clarifying that. At this time, you can go switch water off the forward position, and you can expect an H2O is off message.
And message received. Water's off.
Message received also. Water's off.
Copy. Last caution of the procedure. We're not going to close the hatch until the water has been off for 2 minutes, so I'll get back to you.
Okay. Job.
Nicely done. Talk to me about that APFR afterwards.
I will.
Eat my lunch.
Pistons shake violently.
There you go.
Some fun and friendly words exchanged between astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams as they return inside the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock and continuing with their ingress portion after a hard day's work on EVA 91 outside of the International Space Station. You are seeing the other portion of the Quest airlock, the equipment lock that NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore, who is in the center of the screen, looking through the window of the hatchway and peering in to see what astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams are up to, alongside with Don Pettit. They are the IVs, or intervehicular support team, for today's spacewalk. They help the two prepare, get dressed in their spacesuits, along with their pre-breathe portion of their preparations before egressing out into the vacuum of space, and await for their crewmates to return here in the next little while.
All right, Nick, Sunny, that's 2 minutes. So, Nick, you can verify the outer hatch is clear of any hardware and tethers, and then verify the handle position per the hatch decal. And when that's done, you can close and lock the hatch.
Work.
Now just a little over 5 hours and 52 minutes into today's EVA is the crew of Suni Williams and Nick Hague, two astronauts EV1 and EV2, out and about of the International Space Station, completing a multitude of assembly, maintenance, and upgraded tasks, and are now back inside the crew lock and awaiting the next steps of the Ingress portion of today's spacewalk, or their return inside of the orbiting laboratory. You're seeing a live look from inside the equipment lock, the other half of this airlock, the Quest airlock, in which their support teams on the other side of that hatchway. That is Barry Wilmore, NASA astronaut, looking in and keeping an eye on both Hague and Williams, and Don Pettit immediately off to his right-hand side.
Nice.
Okay. Latched and locked. Hatches closed, Jeff.
Copy, hatches closed and locked. Sunny, on the UIA, we are going to check oxygen EMU 1 and 2 valves. 2 are open.
Oxygen EMU 1 and 2 are open.
Copy, switch power EV1 and 2 valves to on.
Power EV1 coming on. LED is on. Power EV2 coming on. LED is on.
Copy, Sunny, can you check that EV1 and 2 volts read 18 to 19?
Yep, confirmed 18.6 on 1, 18.6 on 2.
Awesome. Both of you, please switch power now to SCU and EV. Expect warning tone.
I'll wait for you.
Okay. I'm in SCU.
I'll get that back. Hold on. Wait. Bring it.
It's the toughest switch through I have to do. Hold your arm in half 3 times in order to make that throw.
SCU, EV2 SCU. Hear me?
I heard you.
Okay.
Jess, we're both in SCU.
Okay, copy, Nick, Sunny. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here and hand you back to Butch. But before I do that, I just want to take a quick moment to congratulate both you and the entire team today on a safe and really highly successful EVA. Some of these tasks we accomplished today were really a long time in the making, so it really was the combined efforts of both the team on orbit and the many, many teams on the ground that made today a reality. So I just want to say thank you all for dedicating the time and the effort that you did. And congrats, Nick and Sunny, on the completion of your 4th and 8th EVAs, respectively. Job well done.
Thanks, Jeff. You did an awesome job today. And, you know, those are great words. As you mentioned those teams, it flashes through my head seeing the faces and the smiles of all those people support us at the MBL and the VR lab and Building 9, and the team that makes this happen is it's just really special to be a part of it and get to do this with them. We're about 2 months short of the 60th anniversary of the first spacewalk, and it's just really cool to be part of that legacy and do our little bit.
In a couple words, also, if you don't mind, Nick.
Fire away.
You know, it's a huge team, but also our families. Thank you to them. Mr. This blood adventure, particularly on the 60th anniversary of spacewalking. Happy birthday to my husband, Mike.
Hey, happy birthday, Mike.
All right, Butch, I think we're back with you.
And Houston, just confirm you want me to pick up from here.
Yeah, affirm. Thanks, Nick and Sunny, for those great words. And Butch, you have the comm.
Fantastic. Well, Uha and Gizzard also want to send happy birthday wishes to Mike. And with that, we're going to step into get you guys in here. So both of you, O2 actuator to press.
Copy.
Verify O2 pause press is displayed.
Good.
And you just heard from the crew aboard the International Space Station and NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams as they are returned to the crew lock with some joyous words of their day today, and truly a team effort from those up aboard the International Space Station and those teams here on the ground. Approaching 5 minutes and 59 seconds of today's EVA as the support teams aboard the orbiting laboratory. Butch Wilmore, you see to the left, Don Pettit to the right, just outside of the hatch, and just on the other side is where Hague and Williams await as they continue to begin their ingress procedures to return inside the orbiting laboratory.
And that's EV1 and EV2 both in press.
Affirm.
Affirm.
Pause press is displayed.
Yes.
All right, Nick, check the EV hatch MPEV is closed.
It is closed, Butch.
Okay, we're going to start throttling the equalization valve, so let us know if we need to stop.
Will do.
The start time is 1900. The 4 expected alert time. We're currently at 1.5.
Okay.
Copy, Butch.
Going on in here. Copy 4.
You just heard the call for today's spacewalk that has officially come to a close at 1:01 p.m. Central Time, 2:01 p.m. Eastern Time, and that puts today's EVA at exactly 6 hours long for NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams. We'll bring you updated stats in just a couple of moments, but again, that official end time and repressurization of the crew lock began at 1:01 p.m. Central Time at 2:01 p.m. Eastern.
All right, good timing. Thank you, Aki.
I never turned on my glove heaters.
Neither, me neither. Look at a nice temperature all day long.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Not just cold, just right.
Yeah, I never had to touch the TCD once we went out there.
Yeah, me neither.
Hey guys, let's check your glove heaters are off.
One's off.
Gloves for any contamination.
No contamination.
No contamination. That's nothing on my glove.
4 seconds in our 2-minute wait. Houston, pressure appears to be holding stable. Do you agree? Checking.
Give us another minute or so. We'll get back to you.
Okay, sounds good. Standing by. Standing by another minute, guys.
Standing by.
Y'all are still feeling good, right?
Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Houston, while we're waiting, just to confirm, before we actually continue to repress, we're going to go O2 actuator to IV in step 10. Is that right?
And but you are correct, and we are good to continue at this point.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that brings us up to step 10. If both of y'all are feeling well, you go O2 actuator to IV. Let me know when you're there, and then we'll continue the repress.
DD2's an IV.
And one's an IV.
All righty, here we go. IV hatch equalization valve. We're going norm to continue the repress. Expected alert zone. PSI. 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 Nine PSI.
Happy 9. Feeling good.
And PSI. Thank you. 11 PSI. 12 PSI.
I think it's lunchtime.
Lunchtime. Gotta have all the meals all at once.
Yep. Brunch, dinner, all in one.
13 PSI.
Happy 13. Feeling good.
Same here.
It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like a blender.
Yeah. Blender. Do we undo from the keyring extender so they don't
I don't think we're going to float away.
stuck like a...
TDP is 0. You'll expect an alert tone.
Okay.
Free.
Thank you.
14 PSI.
We continue our live coverage of U.S. Spacewalk 91 as NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague have returned inside the crew lock after an exactly 6-hour spacewalk today that saw them accomplish a multitude of tasks. And as we update the numbers with that time frame, today the 273rd spacewalk in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. As we hear Butch Wilmore and the internal team inside the International Space Station continuing to monitor the repressurization of the crew lock to bring both Hague and Williams back inside. Today's spacewalk for those two was the first out of station this year and the second spacewalk during Expedition 72. It is the fourth spacewalk of Nick Hague's career, and his new totals now are 25 hours and 56 minutes. The eighth spacewalk of Suni Williams' career, totaling now 56 hours and 40 minutes. And as mentioned, today's spacewalk lasted exactly 6 hours on the button, starting right at 7:01 a.m. Central Time and ending at 1:01 p.m. Central Time. And with that, in total, today, as we mentioned, the 273rd spacewalk in support of assembly, maintenance, and upgrades, and the total time of that approaching 1,729 hours, 13 minutes, or the equivalent of, at the bottom there, 72 days, 1 hour, and 13 minutes of spacewalking time for the International Space Station. And there you see the beautiful views of the hatch opening. Don Pettit and Butch Wilmore ready to welcome back inside the equipment lock Nick Hague and Suni Williams with some happy hugs as they make their way back inside the orbiting laboratory. That is Commander of Expedition 72, Suni Williams, entering in first. And there you see the top of her helmet, and then just past that, you see the feet up above the top of that crew lock belonging to astronaut Nick Hague.
We're still seeing no pain.
Continuing to monitor the ingress of astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague as they have returned from outside the International Space Station for U.S. Spacewalk number 91. Suni Williams right there in the foreground, and Hague out in the background. You see his feet floating towards the top of the crew lock as they enter and get assistance from their internal support team of NASA astronauts Don Pettit and Butch Wilmore. Right now they're taking off the safer units on the backside of Williams's uniform. Those are the simplified aid for EVA rescue should they have needed them for additional safety assurance outside the International Space Station. That provides them stability, thrust, and maneuverability should they become untethered. So as they adjust for Suni, they will make sure that they have everything squared away before reattaching her to the equipment lock. You're watching continued coverage here on NASA Plus as EVA 91 starting to wind down as NASA astronaut and commander of Expedition 72 Suni Williams has the first one to enter the equipment lock, and her colleagues, NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore on the right side, Don Pettit on the near ground, assisting Williams back up on the rack and inside the equipment lock. And astronaut Nick Hague, who joined Williams for an exactly 6-hour spacewalk today, awaits his turn inside the crew lock just through that lidded framework. You can see his feet and those red stripes so faintly floating before he can make his return inside the International Space Station as well. And again, this was the 8th spacewalk for Williams, the 4th for Nick Hague, bringing up their overall totals for Hague, 25 hours and 56 minutes out in the vacuum of space, and for Williams, now 56 hours and 40 minutes in support of the International Space Station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. We'll continue our coverage and keep things here right on NASA Plus as we watch the two astronauts return inside the space station and make sure that all systems are good with those two. And of course, we'll recap today's events as teamwork on display for both Hague and Williams, the team inside the International Space Station and the teams here inside the International Space Station Flight Control Room, and many more on the ground supporting today's EVA that saw the accomplishment of 4 key tasks as well as 2 additional tasks thanks to the efficiency of all those involved during today's spacewalk. you saw the removal of the safer unit on the backside of the spacesuit of Nick Hague. Hague on the right with the red stripes towards the top of that backpack-like structure of his suit, and Sonny Williams just across the way of the equipment lock inside of the Quest airlock of the International Space Station. Great to see those congratulatory handshakes and hugs for the two astronauts after completing a 6-hour spacewalk today, US EVA number 91, in which they were able to remove and replace a rate gyro assembly, the number 2 unit that helps measure the International Space Station's vehicle motion, and also the rotational rate, and provide that data for better calculate orientation of the orbiting laboratory. They would then go on to remove and replace a planar reflector that was on the zenith side of the Harmony International Docking Adapter. That would be the spacing side of that port, to help with the communications for visiting vehicles for their approach to and docking procedures connecting with the orbiting laboratory. And then the two would then move on to install patches for the damaged NICER X-ray telescope, the Neutron Star Interior Composition Explorer. And then the two would move on to the alpha magnetic spectrometer setup to look out for future EVA opportunities, preparatory tasks to upgrade the alpha magnetic spectrometer, or AMS. And with that efficiency and the teamwork of those two and their guidance and teammates inside the International Space Station and those on the ground, they had extra time and were given additional tasks in which they were able to complete imagery of an ammonia line on the Unity module and pick up those photos for future use, as well as take a look and evaluate an articulating portable foot restraint unit also on the outside of the International Space Station. Now you are looking inside the equipment lock, the crew lock just past them, where both Nick Hague on the right side, Sonny Williams on the left, would re-enter the International Space Station and are now being assisted back onto the racks by their internal support team of astronauts, NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Don Pettit.
Houston, do you want pictures of the gloves while they're pressurized?
Stand by. But we do not need pressurized glove photos, only for unpressurized, unless there's something specific.
Hang on.
You're looking live inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room as we have a temporary handover of communications with the International Space Station between satellites as the U.S. EVA Spacewalk and Flight Director Nicole McElroy keeping eye on NASA astronauts Nick Hague and Suni Williams, who have completed a 6-hour spacewalk and have since returned inside of the International Space Station with assistance from Butch Wilmore and Don Pettit, who are assisting them in the removal of their gloves and helmets. And we will keep coverage here on NASA Plus until that removal and take a look ahead at what's to come and future U.S. spacewalks. And the next one just a week from now. And there you can see the return feed coming from the inside of the equipment lock as Suni Williams on the left-hand side completing her 8th spacewalk today. Nick Hague on the right completing his 4th.
Spacewalk Houston. Don, if you can see it on your right, if you look below, downwards, there was a battery pack that was floating downwards. Good catch.
This is Mission Control Houston. As you can see from inside the Quest airlock, the helmets and gloves have been removed from NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague after completing a 6-hour spacewalk, U.S. Spacewalk 91, completing a multitude of tasks in support of the International Space Station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. That'll conclude our coverage for today's EVA, but taking a look ahead at what's to come for future EVAs. The next one, U.S. Spacewalk EVA 92, will be a week from now, Thursday, January 23rd, and starting at 6:45 a.m. Eastern Time. That'll be 5:45 a.m. Central Time. And again, that'll do it for our coverage today. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us for this 6-hour EVA, a successful one and a good day to go for a walk outside for NASA astronauts Suni Williams and Nick Hague. And you can follow along with all the latest updates on nasa.gov. This is Mission Control Houston.